Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to IT 145, Java programming. You are in the right place. And the purpose tonight is to introduce you to Java programming, tell you what you need in order to succeed in this class as far as software is concerned, tell you how to approach this class, and also demonstrate how to use the software. And so hopefully you'll find it to be a very beneficial session. Programming is near and dear to my heart. It started me on my career path, and it turned out pretty well for me. And maybe, just maybe, it might turn out very well for you too. Programming is not for everyone, but for people that enjoy it and that work hard at it, then good things can happen. And a lot of times I have students come up to me and they say, Bob, you know, what do I have to do to get a good job? And I recommend programming, okay, or at least computer science. Anything in computer science is really good, okay? And programming, there are lots of programming jobs. And it doesn't matter if you live in Peoria, Illinois, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in New Hampshire, or in Southern California. It really doesn't matter, okay? There are programming jobs in your area. And all programming languages are pretty much the same, okay? So Java is an excellent way to learn the rudiments and the fundamentals of programming. And once you do that, then you can get a good job, and you can get a clean job, an office job, and people will respect you because you have a job where you use your brain, and you should be able to earn a pretty good income too. So if that sounds attractive to you, I certainly recommend that you give programming an honest try. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. This is our class. I know you have a different instructor, possibly, but basically announcements are on the home page. Then you click on course information here. Here you can find the course syllabus. Here's the assignment guidelines and rubrics, okay? Make sure you read both of these, the course syllabus and the assignment guidelines and rubrics. And then our discussions, of course, are over here. And each week we enter a new module. So module 1 is week 1. And here you can read what this course is all about, okay? The big thing we're going to understand in this course is how to solve problems, okay? And the way we do that is divide and conquer. We take a big problem, we break it down into smaller sub-problems, and when we solve those, we're able to solve the big problem. So we don't try and chew off too much at first. And we use software to do this, okay? And this course does not presuppose any previous knowledge of programming. So I don't want anyone to be afraid or to think that you can't do it. You can do it as long as you're serious about it, okay? You have me to help you. You have your classmates to help you. Southern New Hampshire has some resources to help you. Basically, this is all about solving problems. And so to succeed in this, you need a couple kinds of attributes in order to succeed, okay? Number 1 is you have to read the book, okay? Please read the book. People that are successful in life, they know how to read. They have a willingness to read. That's how you learn. And you have to read for understanding. We have an excellent textbook, but there is no Evelyn Wood speed reading course for this material. You have to read it, you have to contemplate it, you have to understand it. Number 2 is do not procrastinate. Do not wait until Sunday night to do homework because you may need more time than you think, okay? And number 3 is you ought to experiment And that's how we learn, is we experiment. And even if we fail, we learn from our failures. And then we try something else. We try something else until something works. And then number 4, maybe the most important is don't quit. Okay? The people that succeed in programming are those kinds of people that are not easily stumped by a problem. They stick with it and they see it through. Hopefully you're that kind of person. And if you do that, I think you're going to have a great experience. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. What do you need in order to succeed in this class? Well, you need to participate in the discussions every week, and you need to do the homework assignments. Okay, every week there's a programming assignment, and so you need to do those assignments in order to get the best grade possible. Okay, and you may not always get a perfect score. Certainly you can get a perfect score on participation, but on the assignments you may or may not get a perfect score. It all depends on you, okay, and the quality of your work, obviously. Well, you need 2 pieces of software to do that, okay, to do the homework. And the good news is, and this is great news, they are both free. Both pieces of software are free. The first piece of software that I want you to get is called JGrasp, okay? www.jgrasp.org. Okay, you're brought to this screen, and the only thing we're really interested in is this big G in the upper right hand corner, okay, where it says download JGrasp. Okay, that's all you need to do. So I click on that and I skip this top user information business, and I come down here where it says JGrasp 2.0.1_07, right in the middle of the screen. August 29th, 2015. Okay, if I have a Windows machine, I click on jgrasp.exe. If I have a Mac OS 10, I click on jgrasp.pkg. I happen to have Windows, so I'm going to click on jgrasp.exe, and I get to save the file. Okay, once the file is saved, then I run the file, and it's very easy. Okay, the second, sometimes people say, hey, can I use NetBeans instead? Yes, you can use whatever you feel comfortable with, but Southern New Hampshire recommends JGrasp, and that's what I use. I find it very simple. Okay, the next program that you need is Java. Okay, and that's free too, and I go to www.javasoft.com. Okay. You see this thing that says Oracle, and maybe you know that Java was developed by Sun Computer. Yeah, well, Oracle bought out Sun. Okay, so you're still in the right place. The way we go here, once we're on this screen, is we go to Downloads, and it says, we get something that says Java Downloads right here. Or this popular downloads. See that on the left-hand side? I go to Java for Developers, okay? So you go here, and to this website right here, and this first thing says Java SE Development Kit 8U60, okay? If you have Windows, come on down to the very bottom one and click on it. If you have Mac OS 10, click on this one right here. Okay, so I've got Windows. I click on that. Oh, first we have to accept the licensing agreement right here. Okay, and then I click on that, and then I download it. So once again, we go to javasoft.com. Right here. We'll click on Downloads, and Java downloads, or Java SE, go to Java SE, okay? And I would go right here in this upper left-hand one. And right here, this first one right here, I would click on it with the coffee cup. Click on that, and that takes you to this screen. And then click on Accept the License Agreement, and then click on that. So what happens is, after you get that, okay, it's going to put a shortcut on your desktop. And here's my desktop. And if you look at the second column and the second row, there's a big G and it says JGrasp. I click on that and it comes up something like this. Okay? This is what you get. And now I'm showing you how to write a Java program. First thing you do is, in the upper left-hand corner, it says File, Edit, View, and then you go down a little, okay, and it says, it gives a path right here, okay? And you need to specify a path there so JGrasp knows where to grab your Java projects, okay? And I just used users, my name, which is Bob, documents, okay, and then Java projects. That's where I store mine. You can type the same thing, but instead of Bob, type your name, okay? Or you can name it something else. Okay, once you do that, you're ready to start. So click File, New, Java, and it opens up two windows, okay? A larger window and a smaller window. The smaller window is expandable, and so is the larger window. It's just drag and drop, okay? So just drag this bar and make it as big as small as you want. I generally like it about that size right there, okay? First thing you do is you put your name, then you put the class, okay? And these are just comments, and I start comments with 2 slashes. And I'm sure you know where slashes are on your keyboard, okay? And maybe the date, something like that, okay? And we're ready to get started. In Java, we type everything in lowercase letters with some exceptions, okay? And the way we always start as public class, okay? And I'll call this Seminar 1, okay? And the name of the class is Seminar 1. That starts with a capital letter. So there's an exception to the rule, okay? And then we hit New Line, and we put an opening curly brace, which is the key to the right of the P, Papa, key on your keyboard. So hit Shift and the key to the right of P. And then to make things pretty, we indent. And this next line is sort of tricky, but I want you to just memorize it, okay? And don't worry for right now what it means. Just accept on faith that it has to be there in every Java program, okay? Public static void main. And this is what we call the main method. And string with a capital S, and then args. And you may say, well, what does that mean? Well, I could explain this word and this word and this word and this word and this one and this one. It would take me probably a couple hours, so it's beyond the scope of tonight's lecture. But just understand that line number 10 here is required, and you're going to use that same line in every program that you write in this class. So at this point, it might not be a bad idea to click on File, Save As, and you just call this file like Java Template, and you save it under that name. So then next week, you just call up this file, change Seminar 1 to Seminar 2, change the date, and you're ready to go, okay? And change the class name right here, and you're ready to go, okay? All right. So what we want to do now is let's just print out something to the screen, really simple. System.out.print. Okay. Welcome to Java IT 145. Okay. We're going to print that message on the screen. And whenever we have an opening curly brace, we have a closing curly brace as well. Okay, to get the line numbers on the screen, you just click View, and then line numbers, there's a checkbox. Or you could do Alt-L, or you could do Control-L, okay? Either way is okay. If I want to make the line numbers disappear, I just go Control-L, and they disappear. If I want them to reappear, Control-L. Okay, so now we've written our program. Not too hard, right? System.out.print, welcome to Java. And Java puts things in different colors. Comments are orange, reserved words are in purple, strings, which are things that you type, and they don't have to adhere to rules of capitalization. Anything in green is okay. Okay? 2 steps. We compile and then we run. Compile and run. So the way I do it, there's many ways to do it. Okay, you say build, compile, and then build, run. But the way I like to do it is see these little icons at the top of the screen here. Right in the middle, there's a green cross that says compile. I just click on that, and it says you need to save the file, and I'll save it. Okay, and then down below, I get a message in the window below. It says operation complete. You see that? That means I had no errors. And then next to the green cross there's a red runner and it says run general. And I click that and it says welcome to Java IT 145. So our program worked. And I can add to this program. I can modify this program. So I'm just going to copy and paste here. And I'll type like this, should be a fun experience, something like that. Put a period after the first one, you know. And let's say this sure does beat writing papers, you know, something like that, okay? Now, I can put a \n at the end, like that, and that'll give me a new line. So now that I've changed my program, I have to compile it again, click on the green cross, looks good, click on the red runner. Welcome to Java IT 45, this should be a fun experience. This sure does beat writing papers. Now look at this, everything's all on the same line. What if I don't want it on the same line? Okay? The way to do that, there's several ways. Number one is the \n. But the common way is instead of saying print, say print ln. So that's not the number 1, it's the letter L as in Lima. Okay? And I'll do one on the last one too. Compile, run, and there's my output right there, just the way I wanted it. Okay? Okay, let's look at the assignment for this week. Okay, 1-3, okay, because we've already done 1-2. And 1-1 is the discussion, okay? Using the Java Development Kit and JGrass, develop a program in response to the following prompt. Write a program that prompts, which means asks, the user to input a decimal number and outputs the number rounded to the nearest integer. So if the number is 3.6, it's rounded to 4. And if it's 3.2, it's rounded to 3. Okay? Remember the rules about proper development style and form, including adding comments. That's what we've done, okay? So, that's all we have to do, okay? How I would approach this, okay? Here I go, I'll change the name of this file to IT145. Homework 1 or module 1, I don't care, okay? And I'll erase this. And I'll ask the user, please enter the number. Please enter the number of hours worked. We're going to ask them how many hours they worked. And I think I'll give it a couple spaces here. And I'm going to take away this LN because I don't want a carriage return yet. Okay? Okay. And then we also want the hourly rate, right? So I'm going to copy line 13, just like that. Please enter the hourly rate, just like that. Okay? And I know that I'm also going to print out, see, copy and paste is very helpful. I'm going to print out what the total pay is. The total pay is, and I'll put a $sign here, and whatever I determine the total pay will be, okay? Total pay is the number of hours worked times the hourly rate. I think that's what they wanted. Let's see. Write a program that prompts the user to enter a decimal number and outputs the number rounded to the nearest integer. Okay. In order to prompt the user class, we have to include what's called a package at the top of our program. So on line 6, I'm typing java.util.scanner. Okay, and I'm going to put a comment there that allows us to get input from the user. But this line right here allows change. Okay, I generally declare mine at the top of a program, and we'll do a double because doubles accommodate decimal points. Integers don't. Okay, and we'll say hours is a double, rate is a double, total is a double. And you can just separate them by commas like I've done on line 12 right there. Okay, and the way to read in a double from the keyboard is just say, like hours, gets assigned scanner dot next double. Just like that. Okay, and that's all you have to do. And to do hourly rate, same thing, except this time, instead of hours, it's rate. So it's just copy and paste and then tweak it. And then the total gets assigned hours times, and that's an asterisk. That's how we do multiplication rate. Okay? And I'm going to put a comment here. Read in a double value. Double is a data type. Okay? Calculate total pay. Just like that. Okay? Total gets assigned. I know it says equals, but I pronounce it gets assigned hours times rate. So hours times rate, whatever that is, we put that answer into total. Okay? And then we print out whatever that total is. And the way we do that is we say plus, and we just say total. Okay? And let's see if things work so far. Remember, divide and conquer. Okay? So I'm going to compile this. And look, I made a mistake. What's the mistake? The mistake is the name of the class right here. It's saved as a different name up here. It's saved as Seminar 1. We have to save it as exactly the same name as the class. So there I do File Save As, and it suggests it. And now, generally, I'm going to introduce a couple errors here, okay? Just so you can see what errors look like. And I'll click Compile. And it says down below, on line 19, there's a semicolon error, and it even shows me the line. So I go here to line 19, and I say, aha, I forgot a semicolon. So I put that in, and I hit Compile again. And now it says I've got an error on line 17, okay, and it doesn't like how I spelled scanner. And sure enough, I left off an A, so I put that in there, and I compile again. And so sometimes you're going to have to correct things over and over again until it works. And it just worked. And now I click Run. And let's say someone works 10.5 hours, and they get paid $30 an hour, right? And how much would that be? Okay, probably $35. Or I mean $315. There we go. So that's how you do it. Okay, now you're thinking, hey Bob, the requirement says output the number rounded to the nearest integer. So we need to round this number, because if I say something like, oh, they work 10 hours and they get paid $22.65, it comes out to 226.5. We want it to just say 226.00. How do we do that? Okay, I'm not going to tell you, because I don't want to do your homework for you, okay? You're going to have to read the chapter and then dig it out and do a Google search. And if I wanted to know how to format decimals in Java, I might go to Google and say Java format decimals, like that, and then start looking at how to do things. You know, and there's all these forums out here, and you can just look, say, decimal format, so on and so forth, you know. I'll do a Java search on decimal format. Here's some examples, you know, and you can go right here and read all about it, okay? That's how you get things done. You just, things that you don't know, you just look up, find examples, put those examples in, and it's just like putting a puzzle together. But anyway, I want to once again give you a very warm welcome to class. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you approach this with an open mind and a can-do attitude. It can be the best thing to ever happen to you, maybe, or one of the best things. It can also be a really miserable experience if you allow yourself to fall behind and if you try and cut corners. So please don't do that. I want everyone to have a great experience. And we will see you in class. Good luck, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.